What's up, everybody? KevionDs here to make another not Mobile Legends, Heroes Evolved video for you. Playing with XiousDs again today. We're going to do some ranked for you. Still trying to come out with actually a schedule for what type of videos, and that's a terrifying Dora picture on my team. But still trying to figure out what we want to do for videos weekly. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and pop into the comment section and let us know. So basically, I'm just going to play another game as Lilith today for you guys. Highlight her gameplay a little bit, but more of just have some fun with playing with Exius here. And kind of talk through the game. So me and Exius are going to lane together, and basically what we're going to be focusing on is Damien's going to be playing a mage ADC hybrid version of Yuki, which isn't normally seen. So to go ahead and highlight that a little bit, he actually starts with an ADC item. Controversial whether or not you think it's good. He seems to make it work pretty well. It gives him decent sustain for the early game within the game, which ends up being pretty nice during skirmish sections. So with our team comp here, we actually have a pretty good lineup. Mulan is either a tank or an assassin. Exius has a really good tank build for her, and then we've got Rockman to tank, me to tank, Yuki for magic damage, and our ADC to deal regular damage. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cover the. Actually, you know what? Is that a good place for the camera? I think that's a pretty good place for the camera. Still trying to figure out where I want to put the camera during these games as well, but I guess I'm not going top. I guess we're splitting up, Damien, and we're not laning together. Okay, this is a big battle top. We're gonna both end up going top to try and help out with this. Let's start with Wolves, Damien. So, kind of like I had, oh yeah, Exius. Sorry, I gotta get used to not calling him by his name. Um, one of the things you're gonna see is that we're just gonna jungle a little bit here to get started. Um, I like to play defensive early game, and Damien or Exius is extremely aggressive. So kind of a mix as to our play styles here. Sometimes he pushes me into fights that I don't want to fight and we win, and sometimes he pushes me into fights that I don't want to fight and we lose. So basically, it can go either way. But that one went very, very well. So we're going to be able to take an early lead there. So to kind of highlight, my last video was a basic tutorial on Lilith. This one, I guess I can try to talk a little bit more about some of her mechanics a little bit. I had only been able to go over it somewhat during the last video. You really want to focus on using your stun or slow skill on someone a little bit higher in HP whenever possible to maximize the utility you're going to be getting out of it with that big stun. And then Exius's character, just to highlight her a little bit, she has a really good CC ability by confusing the enemy. They're going to try and go all in. We might have been able to win that. I should have gone in. If I had been level 4, I for sure would have gone in, because I think that would have been a fight we'd have easily won. I'm going to use my heal now. One of the things you might have noticed is I had heal up there for a while, and I didn't use it because I wanted to keep my life actually a little lower, so that way I could go ahead and stun if they had engaged, because my HP would be slightly lower than full. Now that it's a little high, I actually need to go jungle and try and take a little bit of damage here. Oh, I'm going to be able to avenge him though. All right, so we got a little overzealous with trying to go ahead and take that down. So Exius, I know they can't hear you, but why don't you give me a little bit of a rundown on how you're going to be building your character so I can try to explain it a little bit for the people. Okay, so Exius basically told me that he's going to be building The attack speed boots to start. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness. I wasn't able to finish it. Mistakes were made, but he starts with attack speed boots and the lifesteal mask item for ADCs to go ahead and give him that bonus attack speed, the sustain, and allow him to kind of stay in the laning phase a little bit. One of the things we've dabbled with Yuki in particular is a couple of different build options. She is a mage by all standards and breakdowns. So mage builds work very, very well on her without much effort. But one of the things that we wanted to look at was whether or not you could build her as an ADC, given her mana shield, her ability to keep her mana up on auto attack. It basically gives her two health pools to work with. So we tried it out and it worked all right, but we ended up deciding that mage still works significantly better. But having a little bit of damage or attack speed in particular is not a bad thing because it really helps to keep that mana pool up and keeps her as a much more durable mage than she would be without it. So after experimentation, that's kind of what we've gone with. It sacrifices a little bit of her damage output to go that route, but overall we feel the sustain ends up being more useful late game because one hit can be the difference between you winning and losing a team fight. So we like to have that extra hit. Yes, and random crits, as Exius has stated, is kind of nice to be able to add to a fight. So we're going to win this fight really hard here because the enemy team does not have the damage. Oh, no. Ooh. Will we finish the monkey? Yes, we will. So overall, I got bursted pretty hard there. I actually don't know what hit me. It was just mainly a little bit of everything. So, I guess now that we're moving into kind of the middle game, just some standard, typical middle game stuff. The laning phase is kind of over by this point. We're about 5-6 minutes in now, and the game's going to pick up a lot. It's going to be a lot more team fights, a lot more running around the map. We really do need to pick up some wards and start getting wards out because knowing where the opponents are can really help you to get a quick kill. This game in particular for a MOBA, a lot of times you'll see people split push and trying to fight one-on-one, but the map is actually really small, and with the ability to teleport on every champion, you're able to kind of go ahead and fight in this game a lot more often, where split pushing isn't as effective because everyone can show up at the lane at any time. The cooldown on teleport isn't very long at all. It makes it really hard to actually go ahead and do a split push strategy as effectively. So grouping up and being able to do those bigger team fights ends up being the better option most of the time. So what we're going to try and do is get the team to group up here, because if we can go as a 5-man group, we have a pretty significant lead. We'd be able to win a full-on skirmish at this point. I actually think, no, I'm not going to dive it. Thought about diving it. I think we could have won if Yuki had been there a little earlier, but she didn't have enough time to get into the lane, and we are getting creamed in middle. They lost the 2v2 middle. So I'm trying to get to our Mulan in time to save her, and I'm not going to be able to do it. And I don't know how low they were. Half HP, they're too high. Got enough to stun them. So right there, if I had used my stun right away when he jumped on me, I actually would have died there. Her stun, again, 2 seconds, but only when you are lower HP, and I was actually slightly higher HP when I first engaged, so making sure I watched for that was a good idea. My team is already trying to surrender. Wow, we are only 4 kills behind, and the team wants to surrender. If we were to group up, we would win these team fights easy, but the team is not grouping. So that's a big mistake people often make, is trying to farm too long into the mid game here and refusing to group up as a team. And I don't claim to be very good at this game, but I like to think I'm at least decent. I've got some decent advice to offer. So we're going to engage here. My HP is just lower than his. I'm able to activate my healing. Oh, they have more people here. That's going to be a lost fight. That's going to be 1 for 2, 1 for 3. So that was a really bad fight. The enemy team was really able to easily capitalize on that. So one of the big problems we had right there is my team is never ready to fight all together. It's always trying to have little skirmishes, 1v1s, getting caught out alone. And that's going to make it really, really hard to ever win a game. Once you start getting to higher elo, you've got to go ahead and group. We can still win this game pretty easily if we were to group up. I think we have a better team comp. We have a lot of stuns between our team. We would easily be able to overpower them if we play this smart. So if we can just group up and defend, this wouldn't be too hard of a comeback. So I'm trying to get the team to come mid lane here. Alright, so spamming the group up to... Ooh, they're not all grouped. This is a good engage for us. Ooh, and I was able to finish Wukong there. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Mistakes were made. And Mulan's gonna die too. This is the game. So basically, long story short, there's only so much you can kind of do in a game. Where we're not doing so hot right now. We have a lot of deaths and not a lot of kills. We haven't been able to take a single dragon. Their Wolfram has basically been able to control the team pretty well. He's been stunning the targets he needed to stun, getting to our ADCs. We haven't been able to peel for him well. The ADCs have just in particular been out of position for most of the battle. If we don't win this fight right here, that's going to be the game. So they're trying to go in here. The best we can do is kind of engage. That's 1. And that's going to be 2. And can Ashe pick up the last kill? Wukong's going to go down for ulting into the well. They recently added, actually, that laser in the well. I don't think that used to exist a couple of patches ago, and they just put it in. Yeah, that's going to be what we needed. Minions might finish the base, but that's okay. Minions win. So this is a good example of a good game gone bad because we were winning in the early game. We were actually doing pretty well, at least being even with the enemy team. And what ended up happening is our team didn't group up and their team did group up, and that makes it much harder to go ahead and fight. So I guess I'll put this video up as a learning experience for everyone. Stick to your team. Oh, and I guess Exius in like 4 of those team fights was meaning to use one of his abilities and kept turning off his mana shield, so having his HP pool, which also hurt the team fight a lot. So that kind of explains why he's 2-8 this game, is every team fight he was sabotaging himself rather than fighting the enemy team. So overall, very bad game, but still a lot of fun. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let us know what you actually want to see in videos. Because other than doing just like a single tutorial video on each of the characters as I start to figure them out a little bit more, I really have no idea what to make for you guys. New channel, new horizons, basically open to whatever ideas you guys think. So let me know. Thanks. How do I end it?